I keep trying to
This
adjust this.
is Three Beards Media. Real talk, no filters, no scripts. From sports to culture, we say what others won't. Turn it up, lock in, because it all starts right now. Live from the AKC Andrew Downs Studios and powered by Revelton Distilling Company.
Would you like to sample some of my nuts?
You can lift your weights, you can run your miles, but you ain't got what's been earned through trials. It ain't in the gym, ain't in the youth, it's in busted knuckles and hard-lived truth. Back's been sore since 99, but I still stack wood and I still outgrind. Call me slow, call me old, but I got hands that could bend pure gold. Ain't about muscle, ain't about speed, it's about the fire when the time comes to lead. You can talk real tough, you can flex real wide, but when it's time to dig in, boys, step aside. Old man strength, built to last, years of work, no need for class. Ain't no quit, ain't no doubt, you don't know tough till you've been worn out.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Old Man Strength. I am your host, Chris Shipley. We are, of course, sponsored by Revelton Distilling Company and broadcasting live from the AKC Andrew Downs Studios. My co-host tonight is the wonderful, talented, very experienced in radio, and I needed somebody with some professionalism on this show tonight, Heather Burnside, and joined, of course, by Marcus Fizer from Side of the Storm and an ISU legend, and Bill Blank, legendary for hating referees and the biggest Hawkeye fan I know. I'm not sure how we're going to control this show, but here we are.
But that's some common ground I'm sure Marcus Fizer and I have is referees are all sociopaths, every last one of them. There's something wrong in their brains that makes them want to be referees. But anyway, let's go.
There we go.
And wait a minute, you
By the
know
way,
that sound like it's like some kind of debate with a mediator or some shit. Like,
Well, I'm just saying I need somebody to help me keep it on the rails.
gotcha.
and it's already off the rails. And by the way, this is the first time I have been on the air in any capacity since June 23rd, just so you know.
There we go.
Oh,
Three Beards Media.
Yeah.
Exclusive. I'll take it. We'll take it. So, all right. Well, the topic is, Caitlin Clark is a needle mover. It's well said. She's, I would venture to guess probably the most popular player in the world right now. She's brought eyeballs to the women's sport and to the WNBA, but that does not dispute the great, amazing talent that was already there. And I think tonight's show is we're going to talk a little bit about Caitlin, her effect, and some of those ramifications. And who better to talk about it than probably the best basketball player that's ever played at Iowa State, in my opinion, and Bill Blank, the biggest Hawkeye fan that I know. So let's go.
Well, and it's funny, you said that Caitlin Clark is a needle mover. Apparently not if you ask WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Some of these legendary players, some of whom Caitlin Clark grew up idolizing. Honestly, it's kind of been a relief to be off the air for the past month, so I don't have to think about this if I don't want to, because it is just continuing to be super frustrating to be somebody whose eyes were drawn to the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark, and then to realize that it's still just this toxic stew that it basically has been since she arrived as a rookie.
I mean, I'm not one of those people. I'm going to admit, like, straight up, when there is a part of me as a Caitlin Clark fan that is a stereotype, right? And I am the dude that didn't pay attention before. I'm the dude that she's the reason. I don't watch. I watch pretty much every Indiana Fever game, and I have watched sparingly a few other games, right? So I'm gonna admit that up front. But I can tell you one thing that I don't think that other people seem to. I'm not a person that thinks she's some kind of victim. I don't think that when she gets guarded rough, I mean, you have to admit she's been the most flagrantly fouled as far as, had calls on her, and Angel Reese is second. So like that exists in the world, but I don't think that's this thing where she's being targeted necessarily. I think that is more of I try to look at it like if as a person who isn't a fan, or a person who, like when I played, for example, when I played sports, like I didn't go beyond JUCO baseball, but when somebody came along that was new and everybody was talking about how great they were, you best believe I wanted to put them in their place. I wanted to let them know that this is a different level. You're not just going to walk in here and take over, right? So I see those elements of that, and that doesn't bother me. Like you best believe I'd be throwing a forearm into somebody every once in a while. That's just the way it is. But, like my problem is like the whole 11th best guard thing. Like just that on the surface, to me, that's that's people voting just because they're pissed off. But I'm not a person like this thing with Zach Nunn trying to pass. I mean, what the fuck? That is just, I mean, that's unreal. That does nothing to help her. Because by the way, Caitlin didn't ask for any of this shit. She just wants the ball. So
I don't know when to jump in here. Well, I will say this, Billy. I'm a woman that, and I guess to my eternal shame, did not watch much of any of the NBA before Caitlin Clark's arrival. And it was because even as an Iowa State graduate and fan, I enjoyed watching her play, except when she played Iowa State. Right. And she played with a lot of joy and verve. And I started hearing the stories, and obviously being a member of the sports media, about how she was almost immediately getting the WNBA, charter flights. And, then comes a whole lot more eyeballs. And then comes the new contracts. And it just still blows me away that this isn't considered to be, or that I keep, and you know what, some of it might be the fact that obviously sports fans live on X, Twitter X, and social media. And that's where I ingest a lot of my sports social media feedback, and it's a cesspool, but it just still blows me away. All these people that seem to want her to be, they want her to keep saying the same thing over and over again, that she is not about, she needs to denounce these alleged racist attacks that are happening at games. And I don't know. I almost immediately got frustrated from the social media discourse, and that hasn't changed year 3 now. And I can't wait to hear what Marcus has to say about this too.
Marcus, what's your initial thoughts?
Well, I don't know how frank I can get with this, but
you can get as frank as you want.
I guess I'm gonna try to be as politically correct as possible.
Don't worry,
Marcus.
Don't
be.
This is a. I promise you.
Okay.
This is a safe place for you to be exactly who you are and say exactly how you feel. We're all big men, and we can take it, dude. Like, I promise.
Yeah.
I love you. He's a Hawkeye fan. You can't say no.
And if I'm be honest, the only thing I hate about Caitlin Clark is that she chose Iowa instead of Iowa State. But I mean, we go back and forth with that all the time. But as an athlete, as a fan, me being one that's been a fan way before, Caitlin came about, of the WNBA. It's been around since, a lot of my playing career. After my playing career, I live here in Las Vegas. We've been fortunate enough to be champions in the last couple of years. Me and my wife regularly go to games often. And so we've been a fan of the sport. I've been a fan of women's sports for a long time. Caitlin came out of the blue and just blew everybody away, playing at the style and at a pace that no one has ever seen. A lot, even in the men's game, a lot of people hadn't seen it to that extent. And she dominated in college. She got to the pros, and things are a little different in the programs. I personally don't understand what people want the players to do as competitors against her. I can see it from a lens of understanding, what players are doing versus her and what Caitlin is doing versus them as well. I've played against a lot, not necessarily saying that it's a bad thing, but I played against a lot of players that had intense, how they look for provocation from your opponent to antagonize you to do something against you to have an advantage. a lot of the, pushing off or the grabbing and the holding and, off the dribble and elbowing that. It's a part of the game.
You're trying to frustrate somebody.
If you're going to dish it out, you got to accept back I was around when LeBron James came into the league. And as a, 18-year-old kid, him coming into the league, we tried to do some of the same things to him. It just wasn't working. Mm-hmm. And I think that's some of the things that people tend to try to say, she's using for her advantage. Like, if you're going to be tough, you got to be tough both ways. You got to be tough on the offensive end. You got to be tough on the defensive end. So there's a lot that comes with it. I remember a story. I don't remember who exactly told it, but it's so funny to me because I'm not a Cowboys fan. But and it just made me laugh like crazy.
Good.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. No.
But I forget. Look, in the basis, the gist of it all, it says, you treat everybody fairly. You don't treat everybody the same. Different players. Somebody had one of the young fellas, I think like a third round pick, fourth round pick, had got caught sleeping in the film room when they cut him, and so like they asked, Jerry or I forget who the head coach was at the time when Troy Aikman was playing, and they asked the coach, well, what would happen if that was Troy Aikman? Is that would have woke his ass up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the difference.
Barry Switzer.
You treat everybody fairly. You don't treat them the same. So we understand the cachet that Caitlin brings to the game, everything that she's done for the game. But at the same time, as good as she is, these competitors not going to allow her to dominate.
Yeah, they're still going to try to win the game.
They're going to try to.
Yeah, they're going to do whatever that takes. I mean,
it's hard. It's hard not trying to. You already know someone is better than you offensively and talented and all that. You're here to compete. So, if there's no way possible I could have been in that game where Kobe Bryant scored 81 points, I would have been fouled out second quarter.
Yeah.
I've seen him having 47 at the half, whatever he had. Like, you're trying to do something astronomical. I'm not going to be nowhere near having the eligibility to play on this court at that time. Yeah. And so I think that's just what players are doing right now. The women are at the next level. Every time you get to a higher level, they are better. Right. If they're not better talented-wise, they're more athletic, they're more physical. They're going to do things to try to. And if it's a little bit different from her than the college, I'm one that can say that I can do pretty much anything that I want to do at the collegiate level, scoring the ball. Mm-hmm. Once I got to the NBA and I'm playing against 4s and 5s at 6'10", 6'11", and 7 foot, it was a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So, I had to try to figure it out, and it took a little while to figure it out. But once I figured it out, I was comfortable until, fucking injury pretty much derailed my shit. But I said this like, I generally watch the game and look to see excitement. I see when LeBron flops. I see when LeBron goes to the basket hard and gets an and one. I see when someone travels. I see when, Caitlin comes off the screen and she puts the elbow into the chest and she looks for the foul and they don't call it. I'm like, Caitlin, they're not going to call that. But I also see when she come off and somebody throws this whole explanation about, and then social media, it pissed me off. This whole explanation about, I don't know if she was doing it on purpose or whatever the case may be, but that whole knee in the thigh thing really, really rubbed me the wrong way. Because I'm like, come on now, no one can control what's going on. I'm sitting here now with calcified muscle in both my hips and quads from, getting kneed in the quad and stuff. It's just basketball. We got to manage that and keep going and just people are trying to compete. People are trying to stop one of the greatest players in WNBA history who has the ability at any given time to blow this thing up from the score standpoint in seconds. So we're trying to do the best that we can, to slow you down. I used to get on our guards all the time. I'm like, y'all fussing at me about standing in front of Allen Iverson and you can't stand in front of Allen Iverson. What you expecting me to do? That's not even my position. I'm trying to assist you, and you can't even stand in front of him. So when she comes off and, she got big women on her and stuff, they're just trying to hold on for dear life because they know how dynamic she is. So it's a lot of back and forth that's going along with it. Social media, you said you commented on one of my posts. Man, I go on social media all the time. I post stuff. and I don't go back on for it. Like I literally share stuff, I post stuff, and there'd be a rare occasion that there's a rare occasion when you really start to get
engage,
disrespectful or but a lot of times like my wife said something the other day. Oh my gosh, she said something the other day like what I posted something, I tagged you or something, and I don't see it on your page. I said I don't even know how to show it on my page. Like it's just I should be better.
Which is why Marcus won't repost any of the Side of the Storm shows because he doesn't know how to do it.
Or I'm just not. I like a lot of people monetize social media and stuff like that. I haven't gotten into that. If I've gotten into it, then I know and I'll learn how to. But I'm just on here, trying to be informed with the news, trying to watch sports. Just trying to keep my blood pressure down because what we're dealing with in today's time. I'm just about being fair. And when people don't be fair, like if you're not going to be fair and you're just going to be biased about how you feel because you're a fan or this is someone related to you, I'm not that type person. Right is right and wrong is wrong, and that's just how I cut it.
Go ahead,
Marcus. I wanted to ask you how much of it is that people are just not. I mean, we talk all the time about all the new eyeballs that Caitlin Clark brought to the WNBA. How much of it is that they're just not used to watching women play pro basketball, and that it is different than the college game?
I think a lot has to do with that. I think each and every woman is. I'm not gonna say 100% because you do have jealousy and envy and things across the board that comes along with it. Superstars in the game you can't really touch, get close by. I remember me and Dwayne Wade had the same agent. And I just tell the referee, damn, we got the same agent. Y'all know we got the same agent, but it was my blow on top of Dwayne Wade's shoulder. You call him a foul. So you understand that, and if you're not a top tier player like she is, that's going to infuriate you as a competitor. So you're going to do the things that you can do to try to get better. They understand what she is to the game. Trust me, no one is trying to hurt her. No one's trying to take her out the game where she have a catastrophic injury and done for her career. Absolutely not. They understand everything that she's doing, but at the same time, we can't, lay down the red carpet and just olay everything and just let you get to the basket. They are competing, and I think the referees do a good job at understanding what they're dealing with. The referees. I don't know so much. I would assume the WNBA is a lot like the NBA, but the referees go through strenuous protocol. They have to call the game during the game. Then after the game, they have to go and review the whole entire game over again and submit a review to the league office before the next morning. And if it's a controversial call, if they didn't make a call, if the referees got mics on them, if they're getting cussed out by a player, and the league office feel they should have assessed the technical and they don't, they get fined. The referees go through all of this, but they also give the players a lot of leeway because they understand that it's a players' league. We wouldn't be here without the players. That's why I'm such a fan for it, NIL and everything. The talent is what the talent is. We can chop it up and try to figure out how to bring all the money together and kumbaya or whatever. But it starts for me with the talent, as being a part of the talent. I know and I understand that, but at the same time, we're not trying to hurt one of our greatest assets in the game. Absolutely not.
Let me ask you three this question. I'm going to ask this question to all three of you. Do you think there's a little bit of history repeating itself? Jordan came in the league, and some of those older guys, Jordan was by far, they could tell, was the talented individual, but they were going to make him earn it, right? Those other guys, Magic and Dr. J and those guys were like, hey, we've been here for 5-6 years playing good basketball, and now all of a sudden you're doing this here. Same thing with Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods hit the, and a lot of the older golfers were like, why are you asking us about Tiger Woods? Like, I'm shooting good golf over here too. Well, I don't want to use his because that guy's an asshole. But the point is that some of those older guys that have been playing and play at a high level, now all of a sudden you want to talk to me because of this young kid down here who's doing some amazing shit. Do you think there's some parallel there?
I think there's a lot that's there that comes along with that. And also I think what people don't understand, like money changes a lot. and it changes things in terms of you don't want the greatest talents, the people that are making the most money, injured. Like I totally get the whole league load management thing and all that different stuff. And guys getting injured, guy twisted an ankle, he's out 2 months because MJ was making $7-8 million a year. You got guys who average 10 points making $28 million a year. So the highest level players are making $50, $60, $70 million a year. We got to make sure that the talent is on the court. We got to make sure that it's governed the right way and everything is in the best interest for the shareholders and the owners and the fans and all of that. So when you have someone like Caitlin Clark that's coming in and now the salaries are ballooning, I'm not sure if she's been able to take advantage of it because, in terms of her salary in the WNBA, I know she have endorsements, everything like that, but she hadn't been in long enough to reap the benefits of that, but it's going to continue to grow. Those players around her know, this is one of the cash cows in the league. And we absolutely, we're going to compete, but at the same time as a competitor, you can't, you got to think about the A'ja Wilsons, who's been, a 4-time MVP, and when she's on the court and facing the fever, she's going to bring her A game. You got even teammates like Kelsey Milsel, who's playing with her, like, hey, I'm an all-star too. I'm out here to compete, and it's making their team better. But at the same time, you don't hear as much as one player as you hear as the other player. So those are the things that you deal with when you're looking into the deep dynamics of everything that's going on. And it's a very slippery slope. And how do we have these conversations without it being so cutthroat?
Yeah,
Marcus, I appreciate your perspective as you're the only one of the four of us that's played pro basketball. And I understand that it is competition, and she's one of the best, if not the best player on the floor on any given night, and those other pros are going to try to stop her. But what is frustrating to me, and where I end up, falling into the social media and the abyss of the discourse, is I don't understand why it keeps being demanded of Caitlin Clark that she needs to continue to acknowledge her favorite players and the players that came before her, and that A'ja Wilson is she is the best player in the league. Caitlin Clark is up there, but Caitlin is not the GOAT. Caitlin has not won a championship. But why? I don't understand why it keeps being demanded of Caitlin that she needs to keep talking about how much the other players mean to her when they seem to go out of their way to not acknowledge what Caitlin Clark brought to the WNBA almost immediately with the chartered flights and the quadrupling of the eyeballs on the games and the new contract with higher salaries. That's where I get a little frustrated. And again, it might be part of the social media bubble it's bubble isn't a kind term for it, but that might be part of the social media abyss that I end up falling into as well.
Yeah. It's new for her. It's new for her, and she's going to have to, for herself personally, learn how to navigate it. Kobe Bryant ended up handling it extremely well. LeBron James did as well. And Michael Jordan had his ups and downs early, but I mean, as technology, evolves and things get, it's the www World Wide Web and information freeway of the highway, and things are so fast. Like, it's so much that's coming at these athletes right now that it's so hard to just try to have a normalcy in life. But it's early in her career. It's her prerogative to say and feel however it is that she wants to say and feel. You can't guide her to be in a way that she's ultimately not. If she's fiery, let her be fiery. If the fiery goes overboard and a technical is assessed, understand that's a part of the game. And people don't understand, like, these referees take a lot. You have to get really, really disrespectful. When she was fussing at the one referee that time or whatever, and they didn't call it technical, social media world was crazy about it, but I was watching her lips and watching what she was saying. And if you're not saying anything profanely and disrespectful, the referees will take a lot. As soon as you cross that line, where people say, well, he didn't do anything or she didn't do anything, she said a word that I know that, it's one of those buzzwords that they got that microphone on them, that if the league office hears it and they don't assess the technical, then they're getting fined. The referee is getting fined. So it's all a process that normal fans don't know and don't understand. So let her be however she feels. You can't put into her nothing that's into her. You can't take nothing out of her that's inside of her. She has to be the player that she's going to be.
Go ahead, Bill.
Well, Marcus kind of alluded to, like, what frustrates me is how the loud minority gets magnified on social media. Like, it's gotten to the point where, because, like, we've got these players getting, racial DMs and stuff, right? Like, it gets to the point where, like, if you just say something positive about Caitlin Clark, all of a sudden you're MAGA, you're racist. Like, she walked out with Morgan Wallen or whatever before a show. Like, is she racist because she likes Morgan Wallen? I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, my son likes Morgan Wallen. I think he's dog shit because I hate country music. But, like, I hate all things redneck. That's just how I am. So I know that's not why my son likes Morgan Wallen, right? Now, do you have to acknowledge the fact? And this is what I have to keep in mind, because I'm a Hawkeye fan. Caitlin Clark grew up in my hometown. My reason for loving her is because of that. Mm-hmm. And I need to keep in mind that throughout the rest of the country, the people that aren't from here, that didn't watch her when she was in high school, there are going to be people out there that is their motivation. They love her just because she's white. And you have to acknowledge that, right? But I think at the same time, you also have to acknowledge that there's people out there that hate her for the same reason.
Yeah. The sad thing about it is we are living in a time where that's a touchy subject, but it is at the forefront of our everyday lives.
100%.
And like I said, and people who know me know that I'm about fairness. Like I said before, straight down the middle. It doesn't matter if it's my kids, if it's not my kids. My sister and my niece lives here with us. My niece is not my child, but she's my child. I don't treat her no differently than I treat my own, sons and daughters that I'm raising. And that's just the way I am. A lot of people don't know that, I'm biracial on my father's side. And they tend to come at me just being on, the black side of just, you really don't know. But when I'm talking to you about things that I'm talking about, I don't have to tell you that. I shouldn't have to tell you that. You should listen to the words that I'm saying and understand.
You should not. No, hell no.
Where what I'm saying and where I'm coming from. Mm-hmm. But people just don't want to do that. People don't want to do research. Do research into the game. Do research into the sport. Do research into understand what's what. I see all of the ones that have come along. Like now, a lot of people are Sophie Cunningham's, fan. Because she's on that side and she's hanging with a lot of MAGA people or whatever. But
seems like
you got Sabrina Ionescu that's in New York, that's an all-star, that's averaging 20-something points a game, and you don't hardly hear about her, or Brianna Story, or Paige Beckers, and things like that. And so you try to understand and wonder why, and it all comes back to these are homosexual females versus heterosexual females. Like, it's all kind of different dynamics that people want to draw into what they're biased about. I really don't care.
Right.
People walk around all day saying, only God can judge me, while we're judging each other every single second of the day. And if you really believe that only God can, I can't put you in heaven, I can't put you in hell. I can't say that my lifestyle or what I live by is the right way, and neither can you say that about someone else. So if that's what you choose and it's not impeding on my life, then hey, I'm not your pastor, I'm not your spiritual advisor. And even if I was, if I'm trying to teach you something that I believe, I still can't force you to believe it. That's what free will is. We all were given free will, and that's the way life should be. But that's not the easy route. People want to be attached to the majority of everything. Everybody wants to feel like, because you're deep down inside, you're not going to show what you're truly feeling, because you might feel like the minority.
An outcast, yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so for that, even if you don't feel that way inside, you're really going to say what the masses are saying so you can be safe and hide. And I just can't deal with people like that.
I feel like the divide right now in the discourse with Caitlin Clark is just indicative of the discourse and the divide everywhere. It's just like a microcosm of what's been happening.
100%. She's the lightning rod. And then you have, like Sophie Cunningham is a great example, because I tend to think that, like, if you were going to answer the question, why wasn't the WNBA as popular up until now, right? And you'll hear a lot of people say, well, the country needed a white girl to come along and whatever else, you know, like, but I think that maybe not so much a white girl as a straight girl, or like, because you look at, I've experienced this as a comic. I'm only drawing the parallels I can possibly draw. Right. There was a girl opening for me one time that was a lesbian, and she was a beautiful girl. Like, did not mention on stage that she was a lesbian until about halfway through her set. She was crushing until she got halfway through her set. And that's when I realized, oh, all these dudes want to fuck you, and now they realize you're not on their team anymore. And so now they're not paying attention. Right. And I tend to think that that's more so the issue right now, is it's more that a straight girl, and then you have like Sophie Cunningham, and she's getting all, you know, she's building her brand, doing all this, all these provocative pictures and things like that. So I think it has one of the biggest reasons the WNBA didn't gain in popularity before Caitlin Clark was more sexual than anything else. Yeah, I mean, that's just something to do. You know what I mean? It's something to. I think it's more. I think when men, it's like having the sideline reporter for no reason. Like, for some reason.
Hold on, I'm not going to let you say that.
I'm just saying, like, dudes have to feel like there's some eye candy or something. It's gross, but I feel like that's what's happened more than anything. I think it's because
of course sideline reporters work their asses off. So
I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying the reason that it adds nothing. Nobody watches football because of the sideline reporter ever. Nobody tunes into the game going, well, I hope Holly Rowe's there. Nobody does that.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but at the same time, all it takes is that one key injury, and then all of a sudden you need to have that person on the sidelines that's going to be able to corral the coach to see what's going on. And I'm just I'm not saying it to be disparaging about them. I'm being disparaging about society.
Yeah.
And I get that too.
Men as a whole, you know what I mean? I think that's the issue. I think in order to get popular, it's still kind of the case that white dudes have to want to fuck you, like, as a woman.
And with that, it's not a good time to take a break. Let's take our first
I'm
break.
right here, Billy.
This is what happens, Heather, when we don't have a dump button or any kind of FCC.
I know.
Or anything.
You know, and 5-0's watching this. I have not built my career on that. I will just assure you of that.
No, I'm not saying you have.
5-0's worked the north side. He knows.
I'm talking about men. I'm talking shit about men, not you.
I know.
So here's what I want to do. I want to take a quick break, get a couple words from Revelton from Iowa Beef Steakhouse. When we come back, Bill, I want to play this clip from your show that kind of spurred all this, because
I need to see that.
It's just simply Bill talking basketball.
Read the comments.
It has 258 comments on them. 95%
oh my God.
of them think Bill is the next coming of Trump.
Yeah. And I said you can say whatever you want.
Views. And it's literally all he does is talk about basketball. So let's get a word, and then we'll come back. We'll watch this clip of Bill being a jerk.
In the heart of Des Moines, one name stands above the rest. Step inside, where tradition still matters. Warm, familiar, unmistakably Iowa, where every guest is welcomed like family. Service that's personal and never rushed. Fresh starts made daily. Iowa beef, hand-seasoned. Guided by fire, built on flavor. Served with pride. A bar as bold as the menu. Featuring the old-fashioned we're known for. A place that stays with you long after the night ends. Iowa Beef Steakhouse, 1201 East Euclid Avenue, Des Moines. Steak done right.
What happens when Iowa grain meets world-class craftsmanship? At Revelton Distilling Company, every bottle begins right here in the heartland. From locally sourced Iowa corn and rye to the final pour, our grain-to-glass process ensures exceptional quality in every sip. Whether you're enjoying our award-winning mulberry gin, smooth honey whiskey, or rich whiskey and cream liqueur, you're tasting the best of Iowa in every bottle. And now, Revelton can ship directly to 48 states across the country. Visit ReveltonDistillery.com and have Iowa's finest delivered right to your door.
Gentlemen, let's be honest. Finding the perfect gift for your wife or girlfriend isn't always easy. You want something thoughtful, stylish, and unique. And that's exactly what you'll find at Styled by JJ Boutique. Julia Bradshaw and her team strive to be your go-to boutique for casual, boho, and chic clothing and accessories, helping women elevate their style one piece at a time. Located right here in Johnston, Iowa, Styled by JJ brings trendy, high-quality fashion that boosts confidence without breaking the bank. So, if you're looking for a gift that says, I get you, instead of I tried, head to Styled by JJ Boutique. Because nothing makes her smile like feeling beautiful. Styled by JJ Boutique, where style meets confidence. Visit our Johnston location or shop online at styledbyjjboutique.com.
All right, and we're back. Shout out to all of our sponsors as well. Heather, let's go ahead and really quick, let's tell everybody what you're doing. You're selling some real estate. Give yourself a plug.
Oh, yeah. I work for the Misty Soul team at Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Innovations. You can always find me on our website. Give me a call. Get my number from Chris. However you want to get a hold of me, I'm here to help.
There you go. Okay, I misspoke. This has 517 comments.
Oh my God.
I haven't checked in a long time.
Yeah, and 96% of them think Bill's a Trumper. All right, here we go. This is why Caitlin Clark gets double teamed every play.
Caitlin Clark is the only player in the league that has someone under her chin 100% of the game.
Mm-hmm.
as
That's just for the
soon
mere
as she
fact that
catches
that's
an
the only
inbound-
player. What?
Right. That's what I'm saying. But she's the only person in the league that is basically double teamed from the moment for 90 feet.
Because she's proved that she'll put up a 40-foot jump shot. That's why.
Right. And she's great.
Yeah.
Do you think that
she's the only one that gets guarded like that?
Yeah.
And so, she gets rid. Caitlin.
Okay. So that was it. That's it.
Which we were leading into, like, you can see me going, that is why, because she can put up, like, I'm basically saying this is the reason for the turnovers. Like, I'm not saying that, like, she's getting, like, targeted and all this other bullshit, and these dudes are like, now you have to give them a little bit of grace because it's a 30-second clip. They don't get the whole thing.
Right.
But to assume I'm fucking.
Now, a lot of people did come at you because of the hyperbolic statement of,
yes,
she's the only player in every single time. And you addressed that in the comments saying, look, yes. I probably misspoke, but you guys are right.
I've told Billy to stop. I've told you a million times to stop exaggerating.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm obvious. It is hyperbolic. And I admit that. But,
the hyperbole is off the charts.
Yeah. But I admitted in the thing, but to take that and turn that into, like, without even, like, Marcus was talking about doing research, all you have to do is watch 10 minutes of our show and you will see me talk about what a piece of shit Donald Trump is at some point. Like, you will see me address shit like that all the time. And so for me personally, it hurts my feelings. Like, I'm sitting here, like, I even told one dude, like, you can tell me I don't know shit about basketball all you want, but don't you fucking dare call me MAGA, like, ever. Like, by any stretch of the imagination. I am so far away from that.
This is my favorite comment right here. So.
But I guess, and Marcus, like, you can address this, like, in that situation, like, I don't understand why I can't just be wrong. Like, why does all this other shit have to get heaped onto me? And
that's not just a Caitlin Clark thing. That's an everything now. Yeah, everything.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But here's the question I really want to pose, because we're coming to a time in society where, we've obviously overcome a lot racially from however many years ago till now, and nobody nobody's taking the attitude of, well, at least it's not back then. You know, that's stupid shit to say too. Like nobody's saying that. But as time goes on, more and more white kids are growing up idolizing minorities, are growing up with minorities in authority figures over them, right? You don't get it in rural areas as much, but in the cities, I mean, I went to all inner city schools. I went to Oak Park. I went to Edmonds. I went to Harding. I went to North High. I went to every single inner city school, and all of my mentors, all of my heroes were minorities. And so if you look at like when Halle Berry won the first, I think she was she the first black woman to win an Oscar? I think it was Halle Berry.
Yeah.
And then you have like Denzel Washington talking about things like, you know, when he saw Sidney Poitier on stage on the screen for the first time, and he finally saw a black leading man. He wasn't watching someone playing a slave or a servant. He was watching the main character. And that let him know he could achieve that someday, right? Well, now, little white kids grow up, and if they love basketball, they're idolizing black players, right? And as they grow up, they're going to say to themselves, shit, I like basketball, but, like, I don't think I'm ever going to get that good, right? And then all of a sudden, a white person comes along that looks like them, that can ball with everybody on that level, and all of a sudden they get inspired thinking, oh, I can do this too. Like, just on that surface level, like, why can't that be okay?
Well, it should be able to be okay, but the thing is, once it gets into the social media sphere, you have so many people who rage bait each other to bring along others. And once it starts, you know, a whole snowball effect, that's all it's about.
Yep.
These social media personalities that I absolutely can't stand, and I pray to God I never run into one or two of them. But the Hodge twins, like I probably would punch them both in the face. I cannot stand those dudes.
Oh my God, I got a great story about those guys.
I cannot stand those dudes. And so they have they have social media pages. They have Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
But someone told me, somebody that I don't even know sent me a message in my inbox and told me that they sold their social media platforms, but it's still under their name, and all the stuff that they be posting just be. And so, like, the interaction that I stopped having with them, because I could tell when it was them because they be lies and all that. But now it's all just bots and money and all that different stuff. And so, like, some of the stuff that they post, that whoever runs it now posts, I'd be like, come on now, this stuff is just so absolutely ridiculous. And you would look down and it's 45,000 likes and 50,000 comments. And it's like, oh my God. And so it makes you wonder, man, do I try to be a piece of shit like everybody else, or just, you know, just stay away from it? And I've just chose to stay away from it. But that's all everybody thinks about. Like, when are we going to come together and just think about the fact that it's okay for, it doesn't matter what the race is, to be what we've become? I personally, and I've said it before, we sit around in 2026 now, and we still saying the first blacks ever to do so and so and so.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely, and I say to myself, there's no way in God's green earth can you tell me that there wasn't someone qualified in all of these millions of years or whatever that has passed, that somebody of a minority or black or a different skin color could have done A, B, C, or D. Like, it's so glaringly that you almost don't want it, because people are waiting for it to get to the spirit of it being racial, being about race and all that different stuff, because that's what they're looking for. And so when you're dealing with, you know, high blood pressure like me, that I pretty much had all my life, you just try to stay away from that stuff and just try to, you know, be as calm as possible and enjoy the things that you enjoy, and just let these people, you know, do what they're going to do. But at the same time, as you can be a voice of reason, you know, I get accused all the time of being a LeBron James fan. I'm a LeBron James fan because I'm a peer of his, and I've, you know, competed against the guy and all of that. I call him out for his BS. I think he should have been shaved his head 10 to 15 years ago. I'm a receding hairline guy since I was 19 years old. Just give it up.
Me and you both.
Like, I'm just going to call it out. But 50,000 points is 50,000 points. I don't care if you want MJ to be the GOAT. My favorite player growing up was Anthony Hardaway. It wasn't MJ. My first 6-7 years as a pro, I trained with Michael Jordan. I've had, in and out bouts with him, training and all that different stuff. We know who the GOAT is, but if somebody else feels like somebody else is greater or that's their favorite, let them feel the way that they're going to feel. I don't care how. Then you get the changing of the stats and trying to compare this and that. And MJ got 6 rings, but Robert Horry has 7. If we're gonna have a conversation,
so Robert Horry's the GOAT, obviously.
Right. We gotta have a conversation.
Yeah.
But they don't want to have a conversation because they just want to be biased about their favorite thing. And if Caitlin Clark is your favorite, I can understand why she's your favorite. And just like you guys were saying in the clip, they know once you take the ball out and you give it to her, she can shoot it from anywhere. That's how we did Steph when he first came into the league. And so Steph had to adjust.
And he turned the ball over a lot.
Turned the ball over a lot. His ankles were trash because guys were hitting him and he was falling down. He got stronger. I'm not saying Caitlin is weak, but if she has to get stronger, that's something she's going to have to do. But once she figures it out, it's going to be like, what were we talking about 2 or 3 years ago?
Right.
Go ahead, Heather.
Yeah, I got to drive back around because this entire show started with Bill Blank and his usual disclaimer about how much he hates referees. And something, Marcus, you said earlier kind of caught my ear where you feel like the WNBA referees do a good job. And again, somebody that just started watching the league like 3 years ago, I feel like at times that perhaps the referees were not ready for the amount of eyes and the amount of physicality and possibly the, half court in shooting ability of Caitlin Clark. I just wanted to ask you, from your perspective, as somebody who's played pro ball himself and watched the WNBA for a lot longer than I am, were the referees and were ready to meet this moment? And was the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, ready to meet this moment? Because I feel like there have been numerous chances where there's been seemingly examples where that wasn't the case.
Well, you can't prepare for someone like Caitlin the same way you can prepare for someone like Steph Curry. Like if we can do it all over again. I mean, Caitlin was the number 1 pick overall, but Steph should have been the number 1 pick in his draft. But you just can't. You just never know what the world is going to give you. Had Steph played another year or played at Duke or something like that, he probably would have gone higher. But you just didn't know what he was going to bring. But once he was there, it's hard to guard. It's extremely hard to guard. At the same time, what I said about they've done a good job, I think they've done a good job in terms of not assessing technicals and flagrants and things like that. Because at the end of the day, you still don't want the talent off of the court. I mean, MJ could get a tech, Kobe, Caitlin, or whoever, LeBron get that first tech. You can make for damn sure. It don't matter what they say to Luka, what they say the rest of that game, they're not going to get that second tech. They can not go. And so they've been even accused of getting a technical early just to be a piece of shit for the rest of the game. Because they know that I promise you, these are the things. The refs come in. We have meetings all year long, 2 or 3 times a year, where the referees come in and have conversations with the players about what's expected, what they know you're doing, what's going on, and all of that. Like, you put us in a bad situation where, Luke, we know, it's a first quarter, you wagging your finger for a review. It's 1 foul. Like, let that foul go. But you want to fuss and everything like that when you up in our face. Now we got to give you a technical. So now we got to worry about you for the rest of the game because we know in LA playing against, Stephen Curry or whatever to go to the playoffs, we can't kick you out the game. It's you're making it worse for us, which makes it worse for the fans. Because can you imagine a referee kicking Caitlin Clark out of the game in a big game? It's going to be a whirlwind of. So I think they're doing a great job at that. What was the other question?
I was asking about Kathy Engelbert and seemingly, like, think about when Jordan comes into the league, there came a point where even though he's still newer to the league, that you had to acknowledge just how great he was.
Marketable.
And and marketable. And it seems like there have been so many chances for the WNBA and Kathy Engelbert to embrace that. And instead she's like, we don't want to just have Caitlin on the cover. It needs to be every player in the league on the cover. And I'm like, what are we doing here? You know, at some point, it was on a cover of a magazine, or it was some sort of issue of, I can't remember what it was for sure now, but
and it was an anniversary print. They put somebody from every team. There was like some print, 50th anniversary or whatever year. I can't remember.
30. I think it was
you're 30, right.
Yeah, 30th anniversary. Right. Yep. Put somebody from every team on it, and I think it had Sophie Cunningham for the Fever or something like that.
Yeah, and there was another opportunity where perhaps the WNBA wanted to put Caitlin Clark on the cover of something, and instead they chose multiple players. And at times I feel like, and I feel like Kathy Engelbert is probably reaching the end of her line with the WNBA, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on how you feel like she is guiding the league through this unprecedented time.
Well, I think it's been challenging for her. As the talent, I really think, there's been some holdbacks in terms of what these ladies should have been paid years before. I'm not going to take away from, what Caitlin has brought to the game and the revenue and everything like that. But the game and the popularity in the sport is growing. And like I said before, you have to pay the players. You have to pay the talent. The NBA has had its ups and downs because of, here and there, different things or whatever, but the salaries have gotten so ginormous that you have to, the revenue share is so big. I mean, you got to give it, you got to do it. It's very challenging for her. She's missed the ball. She missed the mark on a few different things. At the same time, I don't think she's trying to alienate other players in the league, other stars in the league. But you got to have those tough conversations. You got to sit down with players. When you just got to sit down and have those conversations so we can be on the same page and understand what's going on, because it's not stopping anytime soon. I don't care. I don't want to disparage Caitlin in any way, anything like that. But the league was here before, will be here after her. Will be the same without her. If it will progress on as much as it has with her, I can't say that that's the case, because I can understand what she brings to the table. I mean, when the Fever is on, I'm here in Las Vegas, so I don't get the Fever games all the time. But whenever she's on, I'm sitting down right in front of the TV and watching the game. I watch as a fan, want to see them do good. I don't watch like other players. I can sit up and they said the other day, I saw that game. They said, she had 10, 11 turnovers. Like, who the hell is counting turnovers in the All-Star game? But that's what people do, just to nitpick and all of that. And then when, Jacquel Jones won the MVP, the people zooming in on Caitlin. I'm like, this is what causes so much strife between the fan base, or this fan base and that fan base, because they're not being a fan of the sport and the game. They're being a fan of what they're biased to. And that's just not right.
I wanted to ask all of you guys a question. Sorry, Billy. That I feel like it's not just the WNBA that's failed to take advantage of this moment. I feel like Nike should be sued for malpractice for taking this long to come out with a shoe for her too. I mean, it's finally now this season she's wearing her shoe, and it's not going to be available until basically the end of the WNBA season. And Billy, I'll get your thoughts first. Are you going to buy the shoe? Do you like the shoe?
I'm not a Nike guy. I'm an Adidas guy. So I probably won't, but
the giant hat on your head should have let me know that.
Yeah. I'm just you're gonna think I'm an idiot, but when I was 19, somebody told me that Nikes were made in sweatshops by little kids, and so I quit buying them.
I don't think you're an idiot at all.
Yeah.
No, and it probably was happening back then.
Yeah, it's just that I'm sure Adidas are on some level too. You know what I mean? It's just kind of what do you think?
Where's your clean shoe, Billy?
Yeah.
I was gonna go to that as well. Like, I mean, there's so many different folk tales or conspiracy theories about different stuff that goes on, and I'm like, come on now. I'm trying to buy a car and they mark it up. Like, do you know how much the markup is on a loaf of bread at Walmart? Like, come on now. You're going to lose one way or the other. So, try to get by as best as you can. But in terms of Nike, just not bringing her. I wonder if that has to do something with the contract,
being able to meet demand, probably being able to meet demand when they get it done.
I think they will pause a lot of. I think they will pause a lot of stuff if that demand is that high. Not saying that the demand is not that high. It should be that high, but it has to. It has to be something contractually, something with splits. Everything comes down to money. It has to be something along that.
Somebody needed a piece. Somebody needed a piece that wasn't going to get one,
or more. Or more.
I don't know. Yeah. I just thought it was weird because she signed with Nike before she even was done playing at Iowa. And it took, now she's going to be at the end of her third WNBA season before the shoe is finally available to the public. I'm just like, does Nike suddenly, they're against making money now. And apparently their financials would prove it.
So say, and I don't even know how it works in terms of, because I signed with Nike, but I wasn't Caitlin Clark stature as a player in my league. So say that it was a 70-30 split and she got 30 and they got 70. And, they said, we want to bet on ourselves and see how much of a star she becomes. We're going to hold off until we see. And then, her team is like, hey, she's a lot more popular than what y'all thought. That 30-70 don't look so even favorable to us now. Yeah. Right. It's so favorable to us. Let's sit down and have a talk. And they just been going back and forth, which is smart to her. Because it's going to. We talk about a female player that can, hundreds of millions off of shoes alone, just like a lot of the star men. And I don't think that's she's made a ton of money with the Nike deal and the WNBA and endorsements and stuff like that. She's in no rush to give up more than what she has to. So I don't have no problem with it. I wear size 18 shoes, so they're not going to come in my size. So I don't have a bone to pick in this. But it just is what it is. Hey, listen, I'm about them getting as much money as they can, as quick as they can. Sign that check, sign that contract, and let the ink dry and live your life.
Yeah, I mean, you strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah,
especially when you don't live in that world, when you didn't come from that world of the 1% of the 1%, you better get what you can off that 1% because they're going to look to take it back from you really quick.
As soon as they can.
Absolutely.
As soon as they can.
As soon as it benefits them to knock you down a peg, they're going to do it.
Yep.
So as you guys were talking, I did a little research. Do you know the reason why Caitlin Clark was not on the 30-year poster? There is a legitimate reason.
Okay.
That she wasn't on the 30-year
photo shoot.
She wasn't. She wasn't in the league with.
So the reason is because other than Nike, Clark only allows licenses like Windcraft, which makes that poster to only use her name and number. They do not have her right to use her likeness, which is the reason why she was not on the poster.
Holy shit! And see that's
maybe we need to change that.
Well, no, but that's perfect example of what Marcus is talking about. Though, that shit takes 3 years.
Yes,
because of dumb shit like that. There was something going on in negotiations that nobody knows about, way behind closed doors, and that's exactly what
I was thinking. Maybe you were going to say
that makes this poster in collaboration with the WNBA did not have Clark's image rights.
Okay.
So here's something.
I thought maybe you were going to say that she was getting her hair done.
That's the other thing. Yeah, no, she was. Boy, there was some guy on Twitter yesterday, though, that was like, somebody's got to prove to me that she was in Des Moines at this backpack thing. Well, I need to have a photo. Why don't you go fuck off?
She did that.
I don't think that was somebody. That was Seton from the Dan Patrick Show.
Is that who that was?
Why would she not be in Des Moines?
She was in Des Moines
for it.
I'm saying, why would she not be in Des Moines?
Yeah, when they say that's where she is,
right. Like, why would she not? That's like saying, well, I saw her in Maine somewhere. Why would she? She wouldn't be in Maine, but I would believe that she's in Des Moines. She's from Iowa. Like, why would she be in Des Moines?
That's what. And see, that's another thing that, when she walked out with Morgan Wallen, right, or when she is getting her hair done. Or handing out backpacks, which she did at North High a few years ago. But any athlete, right? Like Marcus, let's say you were out with some friends after a basketball game when you were in college, right? And they're like, Oh, I think Marcus Fizer should be focusing more on basketball. Why is he out at the bar? And it's like, dude, am I supposed to just dribble a basketball 24/7? Like, does anybody say to you, hey, you should be concentrating more on your TPS reports. You shouldn't be at the bar after work. Like, nobody says that to anybody
People
else.
are like that. People are like that, and they ask different questions like, what are you doing in the grocery store? Where am I supposed to be? I got hungry kids at
I'm a
home.
human being.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on my way home from practice, and my wife called me and said, we need X, Y, and Z. You think I'm showing up without it? And she's already at home? And the grocery store is on the way?
Now I want to ask what would have happened, Marcus, if you would have went to the bar and Coach Eustace would have found out about it. That's what I really want to know. That's the answer.
He would have toasted him with a natty ice, dude.
Well, I've never been a drinker like that, so I definitely wasn't at the bars in college. I mean, I didn't frequent them a lot in the pros either. But I mean, if that's your life and that's what you do to relax and things like that, then hey. Listen, as long as you're doing stuff legally, above ground, and you're performing, man, let people live their lives and live happily the way that they're going to live.
And Billy, the question that you asked, and you know this, fan is short for fanatic. The reason why nobody comes up and says, hey, you didn't get those TPS reports done, why are you in the bars? Because I don't give a shit if you got your TPS report done. It doesn't affect my life. Whether or not Milan Momcilovic made a basket at the right time affected my life. Whether quarterback passes the ball and it's a catch, it affected my life in some small way. That's sports, isn't it?
One thing about the WNBA I did want to mention, though, because something I would like when people talk about, the players that came before and the people that were building the league, I feel like they missed the point. I don't think they lean on the right things. I think what they need to be talking about is like the sacrifices that the people before made in order to play basketball professionally, because they weren't getting paid a lot and they were staying in shit hotels and they were having shitty flights. Like, they should be talking about the pioneers in that regard of how they suffered in order to play basketball, right? But instead,
tell me about your 10-hour layover in Atlanta trying to get to a game.
Right. But instead, people act like they should have. When they say things like they should have been paid this much back then, well, the league had to be supplemented by the NBA. They didn't have any money. Like, the league, correct me if I'm wrong, but until the last several years, the league literally lost money every year. They just now became profitable. So you can't discount that. And is that because the product was inferior? Maybe on some level, but also it was just new. I mean, the NBA wasn't popular in the 70s. You know what I mean?
No, they used to run games on tape delay.
Exactly. Right. I mean, it's just, and then Magic Johnson and Larry Bird come along, and it's a whole new world. Like, I grew up, Magic Johnson was my hero. When I was in 7th grade, when he made the announcement, and my mom had me in counseling the next week because I was bawling on the living room floor, and she wondered what was wrong with me that I cared that much about this dude. I was like, my hero's going to die, dude. I was distraught. Who'd have known he'd be able to just inject money into his veins?
All right, we gotta wrap things up here. It's gonna be a late night. So.
Oh, thank God! My phone on my battery on my phone is dying. I was really prepared for this, guys. Sorry.
Heather's at 3% on her phone.
That's not quite that bad, but yeah, I might have to bow out eventually.
We had Seneca Wallace on last night on Tracking the Storm, and Keith couldn't get his. We were having computer issues again. Keith couldn't get logged in. Then he went on his phone, and I see him fumbling with something. He sent me a text. He's like, my phone was at 4%. I had to plug it in. So
see,
we're a high quality
Marcus, I really enjoyed this discussion, man. I hope we get to talk some more again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always great to talk to Marcus.
When Chris hit me, I told him absolutely. I'm not doing anything on today. I mean, I was busy yesterday, when we couldn't have the side of the storm. But I was free today, not doing anything. Gonna kick back and watch TV. My son Marcus Jr. We took him up to Salt Lake City so he could train with his teammates and stuff. So now I finally got, my man cave back with, my garage with all my different stuff in it because he's just been lounging in it and just, oh
Marcus,
my goodness.
I think it might be cooler in Las Vegas than it is in Des Moines right now.
It's definitely less humid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that humidity is crazy.
It was 115 degree heat index here today.
So the heat index is hotter than the actual heat.
Yeah, it's like the wind chill in the winter, but the other direction.
Which is a total.
So yeah, I think he got up to
the corn
like
sweat around
108
here, man. The corn's sweating like a motherfucker around here, and everybody's dying.
108. I have this old. I mean, it's cool. It's nice looking, whatever. But it's 2005 Ram truck. Man, there's something going on with my AC compressor and the AC fans. It's so hot in that truck. It's absolutely like my phone be glitching and slowing down and stuff. And I was there before the pod came, and I told her I met with this guy. I had to meet with this guy real fast at the grocery store. I said, man, I got to get back home because, if I'm around, I got to get on the podcast. I said, if I'm around and I'm not back, my phone is not even going to be able to work. Glitching. So I hurried and got back home for this.
Well, we're going to get off here. I was going to play porn star, jazz singer, WNBA player, but I thought that might be a little inappropriate tonight.
Singer?
So
probably not.
I wanted to mix it up. So Marcus, watch
and
Billy
an
and
alternate
Willie's workshop. Yeah.
Yes, and Marcus, in an alternate universe, Iowa State beats Michigan State and Seneca was in. That's what I'm going to go with.
Right.
Absolutely. That's the real reality.
So if you're watching for the first time, we appreciate it. Check out Bill Blank. He's got the new Hawkeye Hangover show on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. with Tyler Allen. Marcus, Brett,
don't forget about Billy and Willie.
Dave. I'm getting there. They go Sunday nights during the football and basketball season with Side of the Storm. Billy and Willie's workshop is every Tuesday night. We got a lot coming on. We've got 2 new pods launching in a couple weeks, and I'm in conversations with a pretty big Hawkeye player that played in the NFL. So got some shit rolling around here.
And yeah, let's not forget September 3rd, Tony Rock.
That's right. September 3rd, the live episode of Billy and Willie's Workshop at Chuck's Restaurant. We're going to have Tony Rock, Chris Rock's brother, there. And I don't know, Marcus, I'm going to buy your plane ticket because we are going live with Side of the Storm and at the coming street party outside of Iowa Distilling Company with Side of the Storm, and Marcus has hinted around that he'll get on a plane and come out here.
All right.
Mrs. Fizer said, go ahead and make that.
Okay, do what your wife told you and book the damn flight.
We got to get Marcus Jr. back to school.
I don't
like a week before that is.
Junior? How old is he?
He's 22 now.
That kid can get back to school on his own.
No, not with all this stuff that he's carrying, all these storage boxes that he got over in my garage. But no, I mean, we're more than likely going to make that happen. She really wants to do that, and I mean, it's been some time since we've been back. Been some time since we visited Pizza Pit, so definitely got to make that happen.
Yeah. Bill, have you heard this story? Have you heard Marcus's Pizza Pit story?
Is that where Nut Job comes from?
What'd you say?
That's Monique Fizer's pizza store.
Yeah, Monique Fizer made him drive from Chicago in the middle of the night to go get Pizza Pit.
When she was pregnant with Marcus Jr.
When she was pregnant with Marcus Jr.
Yeah, you got to do that, Marcus.
Got up at 3:00 in the morning. Drove to Iowa.
My phone is about to crash.
All right, we got to go. All right.
What a guy.
Thank you, Heather,
right,
so much for coming on.
Thanks,
you guys.
Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we are out of here.
Old man strength, built to last. Try to break me, you won't get past. Ain't no quit, ain't no doubt. You don't know tough till you've been worn out. One day, kid, you'll understand.
Thanks so much, Mark.